everybody will continue to pray for just a few minutes, and we'll shortly bring our service to a close. Very thankful that God has blessed me to come this way one more time. Get to be with everybody and see everybody, and kind of bothers me in one way that I've got to come twice, and I've still never got to hear any of your all's preachers, and I would rather at times to get to hear yins, but God has surely been good to us. Through all of our problems and all of our troubles, I'm able to testify that God loves His children. And I hope, I'm getting very hoarse, and I hope that God will bless me and will hold up my voice just for a few minutes, and I won't stand very long. I feel like there's already been enough preaching. And I don't know how many of you remember the last time that we was here, and my brother Chris, he had preached, and he had preached about hearing those medals on that little school jacket, and that was Brother Brandon's jacket. And that's how important that it is that we always try to raise our children in a way that would please the Lord. Sometimes we get it in our mind that well, nothing, that's not important, and this ain't important. But I want you to understand, to serve the Lord is the most important thing that you could ever give your children in this life. I realize and I understand, Brother Billy, that I couldn't give my children salvation, but I could give them an example that would set down in their hearts, Brother Brian, and that would be with them all the way through life. Something that's so important, brother, listen, and I want you to understand as we go through life, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything. You brothers get you a song ready, but I want to say this, that I'm glad that I've got to come this way. One more time to listen, even if we never get to meet anymore in this world. I'm looking for another day, Brother Brandon, that's going to come, and I'll be able to raise in that morning of all mornings, and I'll be able to be one in that number, brother. And I hope that every man and every woman is going to be one in that number. Listen, that when that trumpet is blown, brother, and I want you to understand me here today, that God, He loves His children this good, that He would come and He would make a way for somebody like me, Brother Josh, and I still don't deserve heaven, Brother Brandon. But listen to me, I don't think that I'm going to be able to do much, but I want you to understand, brother, listen to me, that God, He loves His children, and He loves, listen, for us to gather in one mind. And I want you to understand me here today. Listen, have you ever got down and out and need a little witness along the way? Have you ever needed a little sign, Brother Brian, that God still loves you and that you're doing the right thing? I want you to understand one thing. Listen, God is never going to forsake His children. God has promised us that He'd be with us all the way, right to the very end of life itself. You know, when I was a young man and I began to seek out the ways of God, I was serious about it, I would begin to pray, and I would just get so far along, and it seemed like the world would come along and would tear me down a little bit, and then I would go back to God, and I'd say, Lord, I failed you again. Just a young teenage boy, but listen to me. I remember getting a little more serious and a little more concerned about it, Brother Billy, and I would go to the Lord in prayer, brother, and I listen, and I began to pray, Lord, when I am saved, God, you're going to have to show me something, Lord. I don't want to do anything on my own. Brethren, listen to me. The old man that stood as moderator of our little church, our little pastor, brother, and I called him Papa my whole life. I never knew any of my papas. They both died and left me before I was born. Brethren, but that old man, Brother Roy, he stood as our moderator, listen, and you know, I'd been praying for a good bit, and I felt like the Lord had saved my soul. Brethren, and that old man came, he moved down into Kentucky, and he came back to Michigan. Listen, and brother, listen, and he stayed with us. Brethren, that old man came and stayed all night with us, and we sat up late to talking. Listen, and when he got ready for bed, Mom put him in my bed, Brother Brian. Lord, brother, I remember praying that night. Listen, shortly after God had saved my soul, God, would you give me one little sign, one little witness, Lord, I need something, and you let that old man dream a little dream about me. Oh, God, if you just let him or somebody else dream a little dream. It was on it was on a Tuesday evening. I remember I laid in my sister's bed that night, and I prayed, and I fell asleep praying, God, give me a little sign. Brethren, when I woke the next morning, I was expecting to hear something, and that old man never said a word to me. As I got ready to go to work, Brother Brian, that was the longest day that I ever remember. Brethren, I worked all day long, and brethren, and I remember praying all day long. God, didn't I pour my heart out to you, Lord? Oh, God, that's all I needed, Lord. Was one more little witness. I got home from work that evening, on Wednesday evening, and they said, Daryl, get ready. We're going down here for church at Brother Glenn's house tonight. I remember thinking, I'm going to get my little witness tonight, brother. And you know what? I went down there to that home meeting. Everybody was gathered in the living room, and one preacher got up and preached and never said anything. The next man got up, about me, Brother Billy. I listened one by one, and finally Papa got up. He preached for a pretty good bit, and then he called for a song, and they opened the church doors, and that old devil was right there. Saying, you didn't get your witness, you better not move from here. But when opened the church door. I watched my brother join the church. As I stood right there, saying, God, I need a little help, brother. And you know what? When that meeting was all over, I listened. I wanted to be all alone, Brother Billy. I wanted to get out from that little place, and my papa came over, and he said, will you run me over here to stay tonight? I didn't want anybody in my car, Brother Brian, but I couldn't tell him no, Brother Elisha. We got out in my little car that night. When he sat down in the passenger side, he went to patting his leg like that, and he said, I had me a pretty little dream last night, and brother, the goosebumps went all over me. He said, I dreamed me a little dream last night. He said, I saw myself in the hottest battle. There was bombs going off all around me. He said, and I looked through the smoke, and I seen two little soldier boys coming to me, and I took them boys by the hand, and I led them into safety. He said, you know what, Daryl, I caught one of my soldiers tonight, and I'm just waiting on the other one. Ain't you glad that when you're down and out, brother, we've got a God up in heaven that knows what we need. Yeah, Lord, and I've got better news. Brother Tommy, there's coming a better day. No matter I may lay on my bed of affliction for 20 long years. Yeah, Lord, there's coming another morning when that trumpet blows. I plan on getting out of here, brothers. I'm going to answer that call. I'm on my way towards heaven's land, and you know what? I want everybody to come and go with me. I'm not perfect in this world, but I met a man that is perfect, brother, and you know what? He loves me, even though I'm not perfect, Brother Tommy. Lord, that man has promised me that one of these days he's going to call my name, brother, and I'm going to answer that call. How many here is going to cry out in that last day? God, from doing what you wanted me to do. If that trumpet blows in the morning and you're that far away from the Lord, you're in trouble, Brother George. Lord, I've got my eyes on heaven's land, and I'm headed that way, brother, and I want every man, I want every woman to come and go with me, and you can if you want to. Drop your pride and gently follow. Lord, I promise you, it's the greatest life that a person could ever live in this world. I know I'm overshared today, but you know what? Ain't that morning, all morning. Lord, you know what? I found out last year my dad had cancer. He's got cancer right now. They did all they could. No doubt they done a good job. But they said they just couldn't get it all. You know what? You listen. When I look at him and I hear him sing these old songs, it makes me glad that this world, it ain't my home. I've got a brother-in-law that paralyzed from here down. And you know what? It makes me glad that we're not here for a long time. Because in that morning, there's not going to be any cancer in that land. There ain't going to be no paralysis. There ain't going to be these things, brother. And there ain't going to be none of them out there. Lord, I'm going to a land you all know about it. To a land where it's pure delight. And I want everybody to come and go. You brothers, go ahead and get you the song. I'm sorry that I'm so hoarse today. Listen, but I'm glad in that morning, Brother Tommy, I'm still gonna cry out in that morning. Listen, when the Lord, He's gonna leave heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel and the trump of God, and we're gonna rise, we're gonna leave this world here. Oh, brethren, it's like this. Here's how we ought to be, brethren and sisters. It's like that little boy that was on an airplane. I might have told this the last time I was here. I don't even remember. It's like the little boy that was in the back of a little plane. They was flying across the nation. That little boy had him a little toy car, and he was driving it all over the seas. Listen, and they began to get turbulent and shake that plane pretty bad, Brother Billy. Listen, everybody got nervous then. Oh, Lord, everybody got scared. But that little boy, he just kept driving that little car here and there. And finally, a little announcement came over the intercom and said, please get in your seat. We're hitting some rough air. Everybody get seatbelted. Everybody done here pretty quick. But that little boy was still driving that little car around. A man in one of the back seats, he turned to that little boy and said, son, ain't you scared? And that little boy said no, and went on pushing that car. And he said, didn't you hear the announcement? You need to do that. Get in your seat now. And that little boy looked up at that man, and he said, it's all right. That man that made the announcement is my dad. And I know he's going to land me safe. Oh, I'm glad that I got a father that's going to land me safe. I've got my eyes on that land, and there ain't enough devils in hell, brethren, to get me to turn, Brother Billy. I've got to take of heaven's land, and it makes me want to go more and more. But I